वन्दे वंशीधरं कृष्णं स्मयमानमुकाम्बुजं पीताम्बरधरं नीलं माल्यचन्दनभूषितं राधाचित्तचकोरेन्दुसौन्दर्यसुमहोदोदधिं परात्परतरं देवं ब्रह्मानन्दकृपानिधिं कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतक्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. So namaste vanakkam. Today is the Gokulashtami, the Krishnashtami, the auspicious birth day, the Janmatidhi of Lord Sri Krishna. Because Lord Rama and the Sri Krishna, they are and the household names of every Indian. And when you think about the Rama and Krishna, Swami Vivekananda, one place he says, that in every vein of Indians, these words will be within the Rama and Krishna. And this Krishnashtami, the Ashtami day, 8th day of the Bhadrapada Krishna Paksha, 8th day of this thing we celebrate. According to Bruhaspatya, he was born on Wednesday, and Sri Ramakrishna also was born on Wednesday. In the year Vishwavasu, probably it dated 5,252 years ago, the Krishna was born. So you don't ask me the calculations and all. When you look at the Krishna Avatara, when you read the pastime stories of Sri Krishna, every one of us, the mesmerizes. Every one of us, we mesmerize to listen to the past stories of Sri Krishna. So today, the talk, just whatever the leelas I like it most, I shall try to narrate. Because the sweet, whichever the corner you just try to bite, this seems to be tasty or sweet only. In the same way also, whichever story you touch upon, so the story is, full of devotion, and there are some takeaways from the story also, because they say the Bhagavata, which talks about the story of Sri Krishna, they say it is a Advaita Grantha. It only talks about non-duality. There are some people who has a devotional bent of mind. They say, the Bhagavatam is full of devotion. But we try to see in the both aspects, whether the Dvaita aspects and Advaita aspect also. As Sri Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, wherever there is a need to set right the things on this planet, where adharma is more prevailing, and where the people are less to take the dharma, then God incarnates every now and then. And it is not only, Sri Krishna never said, I just only come up to Dashavataras, I will not come. Yuge. Whenever there is a need, just I will come. Avatarana means descend. But sometimes, when we are in this world, the world also mesmerizes us. And the mesmerism, because of the mesmerism of these attractions in the world, we tend to forget the God, and God incarnates and He mesmerizes us so that we forget the world. That is the idea. Because the world we call it bewitching Maya. So because we are in this world, we are in this samsara, we are attracted to things in the world and we forget the God. But there are some incarnations like Sri Krishna, they come to the world by their pastime stories, they mesmerize us so that we forget the world and we develop the devotion towards God. So probably the Sri Krishna avatar is for that. And there are innumerable number of explanations. Every pastime story of Sri Krishna, when you like, different acharyas, based on their bhavana, based on their imagination, based on their understanding, different ways they explained. And every time when we read in, oh, this seems to be so good, this seems to be so charming, so devotional, wow, what a wonderful interpretation. It is not that intellectual conviction actually, it is with the devotion when you try to understand. Every pastime story seems to be so wonderful. Probably the Sri Krishna Avatara is meant for that. Because when you look at the Rama's life, you don't know much pastime stories of Lord Rama. But when you look at the Sri Krishna's life, there's so many pastime stories. And in the same way also when you look at the Sri Ramakrishna's life also, you come across so many pastime stories. What exactly the purpose of incarnation is, we all know that, they come to kill the demons who are responsible to spread the dharma, because when the prevention is better than the cure, and the prevention, those people who are there who are culprits to spread the dharma and to change the people mindset of the people, so they are the demons. So that is where the God comes and kills the demons, wicked demons, that's what. And also this incarnation of Sri Krishna, he has come to play the leading role in the great war fought on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The main purpose is to give the message of the Gita. And the third thing is that, whether all the people may not accept this, the third thing is that to become a center of marvelous development in the Bhakti movement. Because when you talk about the Krishna, only the Bhakti movement, it's far and wide spread because of Sri Krishna's incarnation. In the Bhagavatam, when the Sri Krishna is born, the beautiful story begins there, So everybody whoever reads the Bhagavatam, they have to go through this shloka. So Vyasa writes how the Sri Krishna is, because today Sri Krishna is born, we need to know how Sri Krishna was. Tamadbhutam bhalakam ambujekshanam Chaturbhujam Shenka Gadahu Ayudam Srivasya Lakshmam Galashobhi Kaustuvam Pitambaram Sandra Payoda Saubagam. How Sri Krishna, how is he appearing? This is Balakrishna, how is he appearing? When you look at it, Tamadbhutam, he is very wonderful, he is not ordinary child. Bhalakam, here Bhalakam, there are thousands of interpretations on this Bhalakam word. Bhalakam means a small child. So Bhalakam, the Ka indicates the Brahman actually. He is the Bhalaka, that's a small child, but it is not a small child. He is a Brahman in the small child. You may ask me, Brahman, he doesn't have form. Again, why you are saying that, then there is a lot of interpretation for it. Ambujekshanam means in eyes are like lotus. Chaturbhujam. He is having 4 hands, and the 4 hands also a lot of interpretations. So the 4 hands, he says, God wants to tell his Nirguna Tattva, impersonal aspect. He comes as Chatushpada. Chatushpada means, in the Vedanta class we have read Vishwa, Taijasa, Prajna, Turiya. When you have to explain the Saguna aspect of the God, he comes with the 4 hands. That is also the interpretation is there. So the Bhagavata, the Sri Krishna story, is not only talks about the full of devotion, but every God for that, there is a personal aspect and the impersonal aspect also. And Shenka Gadayu Ayudam. So he is having all the 4 Shenka. In the Vishnu Sahasranama, you say last shloka, you tell like that. So he has Kanch, Me, Sudarshana Chakram and the lotus in all 4 hands. And Srivatsa Laksham. So the Lakshmi is there. And Galak Shobhi Kaustubham. So there is a Kaustubhamani. It's all Padmaragam. Actually, only when we put the mala or the necklace, there is a chain. There is a chain. But here, when they put Sri Krishna, the Kaustubham doesn't have any chain. Actually, that is the beauty. Now, like us, when we put, there is a chain and there is a pendant. It is not that. The Kaustubham is just like that, is hanging, that's all. There is no Chinese support. And Pitambaram, he is having the Pitambaram. Sandra Payoda Saubhagam. That is what he is, such a charming child. and so lotus-like eyes, and having 4 hands, and in the 4 hands he is having mace and Shankha Chakra Gada and the lotus, and the Lakshmi on his chest, and also he is decked up with the Kaustubam and Pitambaradaram, wearing the yellow color dress. So all this description the Vyasa gives. Looking at this, I am not going to entire story what has happened, who are there in the jail. Jail, who are there? Who are there? Devaki, Vasudeva. Vasudeva is different. Vasudeva's son is Vasudeva. Vasudeva is the father of the Sri Krishna. Now, the moment when Devaki and Vasudeva saw, they know that the Ashtama Garbha, whoever is born as the 8th child, is a threat to the Kamsa. Now, all the 7 childs were killed by Kamsa. Now, what to do? Looking at this beautiful, child, again the sadness has entered in her, saying that, Kamsa comes and takes away this child. But there was some interaction between Devaki, Vasudeva and the Sri Krishna, because child means he's not like a simple child. He's just fully decked up with this magnificent, self-effulgence. Chaturbhuja Murti is standing. Then immediately the Vasudeva says, so they have the mixed kind of devotion they are having. So what Sri Krishna says, Yuvam putra bhavena brahma bhavena chandrakut chintayanto krutasnena yasyedo madgatim param. So, Devaki, oh mother, don't look at me only in the putra aspect, son aspect. Look at me in the Brahman aspect also. That means there's a combination. Already he is saying that, because so much the devotion, anuraga develops towards him as a putra, because there is another story now, because he has to be taken to the Gokulam. So she feels bad. So don't look at me as a putra and look at me as a Brahma Bhava, he says. Why I am saying this word, I am connecting when he joined in the Sandipani Ashrama for studies. So his friend Sudama is friend. When the Guru was explaining about the Brahma Tattvam, Brahma Vastu, so all the Krishna, Sandipa Muni, all Sandipa, Vasudama, Kuchela, what is his name? Sudama, all these children were sitting in the line. When the Guru Sandipa Muni was explaining about the Brahma Tattvam, Brahma Vastu, Sudama from there, he was looking at the Sri Krishna, saying that, to whom you are talking about the Brahma Vastu, the Brahman is sitting in this class and listening to your class. So that is why you just don't look at me as a son, look at me as a Brahma also. So that is why the Vasudeva and the Devaki, they have got in the Mishrama Bhakti, and one Mishrama Bhakti is a combination of devotion towards, he is my son, and he is not only my son, he is a Brahman, like this. When immediately Sri Krishna says, you just take me to Tvamma Gokulam Naya, you take me to the Gokula. So immediately, yes, there is Nanda and Yashoda. In their house, there is a new child is born. You bring me, just replace it. Immediately, a lot of rain. The Yamuna is gushing and is outpouring. Torrential rains. Then what to do now? Then there is also interpretation there. Yamuna married to the Krishna. So when the Krishna was taking, Vasudeva was taking Krishna, putting in a basket, the story also I already told, there is another interpretation for it. So the tiny feet were just hanging from the basket, and the Yamuna is just flowing, torrential rains and the flood. So the Bhashikara gives saying that, Yamuna, anyway she is going to marry the Krishna. This girl, she doesn't have any courage. So I have to show my valor. So I can, I have a lot of energy. I have a lot of potentiality. So that I can show my energy like this, she was just raising. Because Sri Krishna should not think I'm an ordinary girl. So he should think that, I have a lot of potentiality and energy. So he should understand. Generally, common practice also is like this. So when you give your son to a girl, though you check it whether the girl is a dull candidate or something, a fire is there, or she is able to run the family, some kind of things we check. In the same way also, Yamuna wanted to show her valor and energy and potentiality by raising herself. Then the Sri Krishna was just in the basket, tiny feet was hanging to us. Then the water is coming up to the nose level only. Then the Bhashyakara gives, it can't cross more than that. Maybe Vasudeva might have wet for some time because the tiny feet is protecting the devotee, and says, the Bhashyakara says, whoever installs the God within the hearts of the people, and those people are protected by God himself. These tiny people are coming because the Yamuna cannot touch the feet of the Krishna, just the tiny people, and immediately, now I have shown my power, Yamuna just calm down, that's all. Immediately there was a way, and he went there, and immediately you put the baby Krishna there and brought back that another lady. In fact, we don't know whether the Devaki and Yashoda and the Nanda Yashoda, whether they got the male child or female child, we don't know. Because that Yoga Maya immediately was brought to, the baby was brought to this jail again. Everything again, doors were closed and the chains were tied up, everything. For that, the Upanishad says that God, the Parabrahma, can think whether he can be born as a male child or female child. Sweta Upanishad says, Tvam Stri, Tvam Pumanasi, Tvam Kumara, Tvam Vatava Kumari. He can born in any way. Immediately the Astama child immediately comes, got the news that one more child is born, and this is the child only is going to kill me. Now immediately I have to kill her. Then immediately he was taken. Now Yogamaya disappeared. He became Ashariravani, saying that already to kill you there is another boy is already born. Is waiting for you to kill. Like this one message she delivered and she disappeared. That is the story we know. Then when you look at the different stories, let's say is devotion towards parents, whether Nanda Yashoda Agatam or Yashoda and Vasudeva Devaki Agatam, Yashoda Nandana Agatam, Nandana. So both, he has expressed wonderful devotion to his parents, and the Guru Bhakti at Sandipani Ashram is marvelous. And the Dharmanishta or the Kartavyanishta, when you look at his life, after killing the Kamsa, he can become the king of the Mathura. Immediately, he made Ugrasena as a king of the Mathura. That's all. He did not take the responsibility. That is the beauty. That is the Kartavyan. That is the Dharmanishta. And the Nishkama Karma, when you look at it, so he was the Saradi. Sakshat Parabrahma is the Saradi of the Arjuna. And also when the Dharmaraja performed the Rajasuya Yagam, so what he was doing? So just he was washing the feet of the Atidis, guests. Or he is removing plates of the Atidis after they have partaken the food. That is the caliber. The Nishkama Karma Yoga is the perfect example for the Nishkama Karma. Because that he has spoken in the Bhagavad Gita. So far and wide, when you look at the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, you see so many examples, so many slokas for the Nishkama Karma. Then, why these pastime stories? There is one shloka says, Anugrahaya Bhaktana Manusham Dehamastitaha Bhajate Tadrushi Kridaha Ya Shrutva Tatparo Bhavet. Anugrahaya Bhaktana, in order to bless the devotees, he takes the human form and do the lot of pastime stories. When the Lord assumes a human-like body to show mercy to his devotees, he engages in such pastime stories so that he will attract who hear them to become dedicated to him. And the pastime stories, then nobody will attract to the God. So that is the reason, in order to bless the devotees, he does a lot of leelas. And when here, this child is growing here in the Gokulam with the Nanda and Yashoda, but right from the beginning, they don't have a Mishrama Bhakti. They have only one Bhakti, is that, he is only son only. And so much so, in your bhava, yadrushi tatra bhavana, they say in Sanskrit, the more bhava you have, the amount of love and the bhavana, you just put it on a thing, it appears to be a living object for you. In the same way also, so for them the Sri Krishna is everything, because the putra bhavana is so much, so Sri Krishna is everything for them. So when the child is born, generally they perform the jataka samskaras and jatakarma samskaras, and during that time the Vyasa explains that entire city was decorated with flowers and golden garlands and all. Maharnava vastravarna kanchukoshni bhushitaha. And entire the Gokulam was a big celebration, that it was a big celebration in entire Gokulam, saying that because the Sri Krishna is born. It is not that the son of the Nanda Yashoda, the attraction is like this only. The attraction is like this because Mahashakti is born there, means naturally whole Digantas, all the stars, nakshatras, everything just cooperates to see the child, the divine child. And there are people in the big feast, everybody is invited to take the food, and everybody is coming and they are not able to take back their looks from the Krishna. They are they're just touching the baby and saying that, Chiram Pahi, live long, rulers live long, rulers, long years, and Chiram Pahi, the God, all the Devi Devatas should protect you like this. They are also giving the blessings to Sri Krishna, Chiram Pahi. They don't know who is he, but the attraction, the pull is such. And all these gopikas, all the people, they are coming and blessing the child and touching. And now this boy is growing, and all this neighboring hood, every day something or other. No, we have to fetch the water from the pond. Let me go on Sri Ramakrishna. Because such an attraction, even when Sri Ramakrishna was born also, the neighboring people, we have to fetch the water from the Allar Pakur, or a pond, or pot, just they will come and see Sri Ramakrishna and go away. The attraction is like this. The common attraction is different. The divine attraction is something different. And people started coming, and he's the darling of the Gokulam. So everybody likes him. And now already the Kamsa came to know that, this boy who's supposed to, a threat for him is growing in the Gokulam, and he started sending one by one the Rakshasas. Then the Putana came. We all know that, Putana, like the decorated such a beautiful lady and came. Then the Putana, we know that the Putana Samhara. The Putana Samhara also, so the Bhashyakara writes, just by giving poison milk, she got Sadgati, she got the highest lokas. Can you imagine the people, those who have little much devotion, will they not get the Sadgati? The Bhashyakara writes like this, just by giving a poison milk. So when he was sucking the poison milk, just Sri Krishna closed his eyes, it means just closed his eyes. Then for that, the Bhashyakara writes, why he has closed in her previous janma, has she done any punya karma like this? Sri Krishna was just, going back, memory chiplo poiti, memory poiti. He was calculating. Is there some good work? Can I give the mukti to her? Because now she is giving me poison. Should I give mukti? Just closed eyes and, calculating that has she done any punya karma or not? Okay, not necessary. Then again, the Shaiva people, those who love the Shiva, they have wanted to bring the Shiva into the story of the Krishna. Says, he is praying to the Lord Shiva. Oh Shiva, no, I am sucking the poison milk. That is a poison. Your name is, Nilakanta. You supposed to come and drink this milk. And Krishna, Lord Shiva came and drank that milk. So this is another story. Because when the devotion is there in an innumerable number of ways, you can interpret the stories. So such a thing, then immediately the Putana got the Sadgati. Then the Vedanta they bring and saying that immediately the the Rupa of the Potana transformed, all 5 koshas. When we talk about the Vedanta, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya kosha, all the koshas disappeared. They could see their actual. Even there is another kosha that the Bhashyakar talks about, the 6th kosha is, Mamata kosha. Because she is a Rakshasa. With that idea, that Upadhi she has so much strong in her. So to kill the Krishna she has come. That much Mamata, that much Mamakara she has to kill because she wanted to support the Kamsa. That also has gone. The 6th kosha also has gone like this. So, so that's what. Now the bharosa is for us as that, so the Potana like a Rakshasa, Sri Krishna gave Sadgati. So we are very much sure that, we all also get the Sadgati. That's what the... and once in the Bhagavad, in the Taittiriya Upanishad, the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Nacha punara vartate. Once Bhagavan catches you, there is no question of coming back again. In the same way also, the Potana's story is once for all gone. That's all. That means she attained the mukti. He says, this is in Chandogya Upanishad, he says, I know only how to catch. I don't know how to leave. That is why Sri Ramakrishna gives example. If the child catches the father's hand, there is a possibility of, just losing. If the Bhagavan catches, there is no possibility of leaving. So we have to give the hand to the Bhagavan so that, Bhagavan, just catch hold of my hand. Probably when we try to catch him, there is a possibility the world is so attractive. So looking at here and there, we may just drop that. So that is what he says in a end. And there is a beautiful way of interpretation here. Says, when the moment all the people came and, the Potana died, a big, huge Shariram, and above that, Sri Krishna nicely is playing. During that time, we only just 6 days baby only, just 6 days baby only. Then they were all surprised. It is not only Shoka for Nanda Yashoda, it is a Shoka for entire Gokulam. They were all crying. What is this? What is this? What is this? They were all crying and they put a Raksha. Raksha means if something evil things happens, Raksha, something on one rope or thread or something, we tie up, The politicians will tie from year to year. Wherever they go and say, you will live long 5 years, you will continue as MLA means, they will tie. From hundreds of threads will be there. Sometimes I look at them, I wonder how they are, The same way, everybody put the Raksha. They put the Raksha in 2 ways, it seems. One, because that is the Gokula, in the name of cows, one Raksha, in the name of the Bhagavan name, Kadavalu ungalku kaapaathanu ansoli oru Raksha potrukanga. Then the interpretation says, wherever this cow and wherever the Bhagavan's name is there, on this any planet, anywhere in the planet, there is no, nastikata will be there, say. There is no nastikata. That means wherever people worship the God and the cow, there is no possibility of not accepting the God. There is no possibility of not accepting the religion in that state or in the country, in the place, whatever it may be. That is where cow and the Bhagavan are the most important things in this Punya Bhumi, that's what. And there are some leelas. Sometimes, many people will ask the questions, Swamiji, Sri Krishna has done many leelas. All these leelas can we do? No, this is not meant for us actually. It's only the pastime stories, listening and charming and forgetting the words so that we develop devotion towards the God only. So that is one thing. Then there are different stories, stealing the butter. Everybody, when you talk about Sri Krishna and the stealing the butter and the Rasa Leela, only them. The stealing the butter, the plenty of stories. And when you read those stories, really, however cruel a person, they develop some kind of devotion. Whether you have a devotion bent of mind or not. So one day, he was just, trying to steal the butter. He was caught. Many times he was caught. But the Samaya Spurti and Soluvanga, and the time lo ebdi cholli, you get out of it, and avrukku theriyum, namakku yarkume theriyadu. So he just Ashoda caught him. What are you doing? Then he was caught. Red-handedly he was caught. What are you doing? Amma, Enna, you just put big bracelets on my hands. They were so painful. In order to get out of that pain, I am putting my hands in the butter. Okay, that is fine. Why these white patches here? White patches. Why these white patches? No, the fly was there. In order to, get out of it, I took my hand and put like this. That is where the patches. So these are the ways, And one day, hiding behind the pole or stamba, talking to someone. Hey, don't come to my house. Why every time you come and steal my butter? Then the Yashoda asked, to whom you are talking? Amma, there is a ghost here. Every time this ghost is coming and stealing butter. That's why I'm warning. So taking the support, actually, he is the person who steals everything and pretending that someone else is stealing. Okay, immediately drive that ghost out. And Yashoda was telling, yes, Amma, that is what I am doing. So these are the stories. And the many gopis come and complain, Actually speaking, it is not the complaint actually. Somewhere or other they wanted to see the Krishna only. And when they were complaining, when I am complaining to you, you're supposed to straight away look at you and talk. But they were looking at Sri Krishna and complaining. Then the Yashoda said, Are you are complaining against my child? You're supposed to talk to me. Why you are looking at him here and there? To look at me. So no, they cannot take away their eyes, such a pull, such an attraction. What they can do? No, he's stealing butter, Amma. Then Yashoda says, it's good. You want double butter, you take it from my house. Then they said, it's okay. Anyway, my house is not eating the butter. At least I am happy that he is taking at your house. That is not the point, Amma. That is not the point. Why should you steal? That is what my question. Then anyway, the Yashoda says, see, she is small child. You like me, you also think like a mother. Then what they see? Then the attraction, again they forget, they go away. The same thing repeats, they come and complain. Like this it is going. And there are other stories, Let's say when, he has eaten mud. And the Balarama comes and reports that the Krishna has eaten the mud, and open your mouth and seeing the entire the universe, all these stories, and the Balarama comes and complains. This said, the Gopikas Gopikas come and complain, and when you imagine these stories, the wonderful theme to meditate. It is called a Leela Dhyana, we call it. Wonderful theme. Whoever reads this, the Bhagavatam and the pastime stories of Sri Krishna, hours together we can meditate. Hours together. And there is Sri Krishna, after listening to so many complaints, one day she wanted to tie her. Wanted to tie Sri Krishna, and she was trying to bring the rope. And one more interesting story. So one Gopika, one intelligent Gopika caught Sri Krishna. Very intelligent Gopika, somehow with so much effort, after putting lot of effort, he was caught. Then that Gopika was trying to tie him up, and she doesn't know how to knot. Then Sri Krishna said, Are you don't know how to tie the knot? I will show you. Sit afterwards, you tie me. First I will teach you how to knot. Then this Gopika literally listened. Then so Buddhiman, she was sitting like this and nicely tied. Oh no, I came to know that, no, you remove me. You sit, I will tie. Bye, like this he went away. Then the interpreter says, see, he can only tie. Daivi Hesha Gunamaya Mama Maya Durat. He can only untie. That's all. Mama Maya Duratya Mamaya Prapadyante Maya Matam Tarantite. So that's interpretation. It's not that story. Yeah, that story is so wonderful for meditation. And the same way you can think. You add supporting statement. Yes, he can only put us in the bondage, and he can only relieve us from the bondage. And he is Paramatma. And that Olaka Bandhana story, then when Sri Yashoda wanted to tie, every time, this much falling short, again she is bringing another rope and tying, and she's exhausted. Then the Sri Krishna says, Amma, now you are exhausted, now you tie me up. On his own he comes forward, then only you will be able to, Yashoda should be able to tie. This story also in spiritual life, this story gives a beautiful meaning. First we have to put our efforts to do sadhana as much as possible. Then after that only the Sharanagati Bhava comes. Not before that. If someone says, I've just totally surrendered myself to the God, idume panname surrender, God also will not accept. That is why first you said, you want to tie me up? So you exert, you try sincerely. Somehow she's, after listening to so many complaints, anyway I wanted to tie him up. With that Vyakulata also is one part, longing to tie. Of course, we cannot tie the God, we can long to see him only. So after, with so much longing, she is putting all her efforts to tie. Then she could not, then said, I'm just now, no, I'm giving you time. Immediately she could tie. So after putting much self-efforts only, God comes forward and then appear before us. So for that we need to do lot of sadhana. This is one aspect. Now already 6-8. Now we will see what is that Sri Krishna and Sri Ramakrishna. There is similarities because Sri Ramakrishna himself said. So when Swami Vivekananda was just sitting next to his bed and saying that at this point of time, anyway, he is going to die, he is going to pass away, he is going to give up his body. At this point of time, if he says that and he is a Bhagavan, I strongly believe immediately Sri Ramakrishna could read the mind of the Swamiji and said, Naren, still you don't have faith. He says, who was Rama in the Treta Yoga, who was Krishna in the Dwapar Yoga, now I am Sri Ramakrishna. He says, immediately could believe. But what is that? The similarities. When you look at the Rama and Ramakrishna, a lot of similarities. Now today is Sri Krishnastami because our chosen deity is Sri Ramakrishna. We need to find some similarities. We can meditate upon it. When the Sri Ramakrishna passed away, and whole entire universe, sky and Digdigantas, all these places, a different charming look. Even Swami Vivekananda notices and then point out how the climate, everything is changing. In the same way also, when the Sri Krishna has given up the body, you could see that the entire universe as in a different shape it has come. The sky is, the Aruna Kaustuma, when we read in the Nalita Sahasranama, in the golden hue color. And climate is so peaceful and so pleasant. In the same way, Sri Ramakrishna, when he passed away, also we could see. It is everybody noticed that. And also, Vaikuntanath Sanyal came to Sri Ramakrishna. Then immediately Vaikuntanath Sanyal was so hungry actually. Then Vaikuntanath Sanyal came to Sri Ramakrishna. Then Sri Ramakrishna himself, I am also feeling so hungry, you give me something. Then somebody gave some gulab jamun. Then after eating entire gulab jam packet Sri Ramakrishna consumed and Nami ekon partishto holam. That means I am fully satisfied. Immediately Vaikuntha Sanyal also felt that he also, as if he also has eaten. The same story we can see in the Sri Krishna's life also. The Draupadi, the Akshaya Patra, so the Duryodhana sent Durvasana in not a fixed time, not a lunch hour. That Akshaya Patra, whenever you just clean it and put it there, again next day only the Akshaya Patra will give the food. But how to Durvasa Muni came with the thousands of disciples, how to feed them? Otherwise, Durvasa is known for his anger. Then immediately Sri Draupadi called Sri Krishna and Sri Krishna came. Same thing he asked. So Draupadi, I am also feeling hungry, give me something. Then that is what my predicament is. No, already I washed the Akshaya Patra. Next day only it will produce. No, some grain will be there, you just find out. Immediately Draupadi went and saw that, one grain. So with that grain he took, Swami, I am paritushta, I am fully satisfied. Immediately Durvasmu, the moment he just got out of the Ganga after taking bath, all the thousands of disciples, they also felt, they have eaten. So the same thing you see in the Sri Krishna's life also. And Swamiji had a dream. Swami Vivekananda had a dream. In that Sri Ramakrishna appeared in Narendra dream. Sri Ramakrishna has taken him a little distance and says, come, I will show you Radha. Then immediately Sri Ramakrishna himself, Sri Ramakrishna turned towards Naren where will you find Radha saying that Sri Ramakrishna himself, he turned himself to be Radha? So many, even Nistarani Ghosh chosen deity is Krishna, Bala Gopala. Then, one day Sri Ramakrishna went to Nistarani Ghosh, and immediately, Sri Ramakrishna could show her as the Bala Gopala faced Nistarani Ghosh. Now, Aghoramani Devi, always Aghoranandamani Devi used to worship Sri Ramakrishna as a Bala Gopala only. There are innumerable number of stories, because today the auspicious occasion of Sri Krishna Janmashtami, we need to exercise, why we chose Sri Ramakrishna as our Ishta Devata, in what way, how he was Rama, how he was Krishna, how you became Sri Ramakrishna. When you try to, compare, our Bhakti Bhava will improve a lot. So then somebody asked, so flute, Murali, so always it is the closest thing that, always Sri Krishna keeps next to him. Always, it is there, always here. Somebody asked, why you always keep the flute with you? So real devotion, whoever has, sometimes we wanted to be closest to the God, right? Because then somebody asked, so why you keep the Murali always with you? Then the answer is that, look at the Murali, what is there inside? Empty. There is nothing inside. In the same way also, if you clear everything from your mind, nothing should be there, then God also keeps next. We also be with the God only. So these are the different stories, we not only just, we want like a Murali. Then somebody said, there is a prayer saying that, so I wanted to be Murali so that, I can be with you always. So that, so there are different ways of looking at it. Then this Ulakabandhana story, when you understand, okay, let me put all my efforts in order to realize him, so that his grace will fall upon me. This idea should come. And why Sri Krishna, let me meditate, let me read some stories, the pastime stories of Sri Krishna. How can I interpret these stories in Sri Ramakrishna's life? Try to interpret. Otherwise, what happens, this Brahman, it is all of the Brahman only. Brahman assumed the form of Rama, Brahman assumed the form of Krishna, Brahman assumed the form of Sri Ramakrishna. Because why I am saying, even Abhedanandaji had a dream. It's not the dream. He has seen the vision that, from the Sri Ramakrishna only, everything is, all the gods and goddesses, all the jivas, everything coming out of him and, again merging in him. What it indicates is the Hiranyagarbha, it is the Brahman. So in what way this Brahman assumed the form of a Lord? In what way the Brahman assumed the form of Lord? In what way Brahman, what is the comparison? How to understand these things? When we start reading, it is a object for our meditation actually. Because, you cannot meditate, if at all you have to assume the form, and meditate upon it, that form will last only for few seconds, afterwards it disappears. But when you think about these pastime stories, you can visualize these pastime stories, your meditation is so easy. So easy. If not Sri Krishna, read the Sri Ramakrishna's Balya Leelas. So then you'll be able to, feel, and the meditation, the process is so easy. So generally when we speak about two things, generally we sing Leela Kadanam and Guna Sankirtanam. Nama Sankirtanam or Guna Sankirtanam. So the Guna Sankirtanam means in explaining the qualities of the God. Nama Sankirtanam means calling God's name. So the Guna Sankirtana is meant for meditation, or the pastime stories are meant for the meditation, whereas the Nama Sankirtana is meant for, where he is going, somewhere he is going and calling him, right? Come. Let's say, somewhere, hey, Kiran, you go on calling. The Kiran, whoever may be, so they are calling me like this, he comes. After coming here, you should have subject to talk, or you subject to meditate. And you are like this, you are like this, you are like this when you say. That is what you're supposed to say, right? You suppose you call a person, what will you talk? Something, your his own qualities, you are like this, you did like this, and then the God also, yes, I have done like this. Otherwise, nothing will be there for you. The object, nothing will be. That's why when we meditate, we don't have any object to meditate. We try, and then we cannot visualize God, and suddenly, okay, all right, then we fall asleep. That's all. These pastime stories will help you meditate. And sometimes world is so attraction, you wanted to buy something and you don't have money, then immediately think about the Krishna, remember the pastime stories of the Krishna, at least the attraction will reduce. Actually, the purpose of the incarnation also one way is like that only. Because the world attraction is so high, so they cannot take away their minds from the world. So that through my pastime stories, thinking about my pastime stories, they develop the devotion. So, Ishwarer Anurag. So, they develop some kind of Anuraga towards Ishwar. Vishayer Virag. They develop some kind of dispassion towards the world. So, that made them to path in the path of spirituality. That is the purpose of incarnation. So, today we got the little chance to think about and meditate upon the Sri Krishna's life. So, further you wanted to know, you can read the Mahabhagavatam or any other book. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.